You clicked on the title, but no, there is no links. However, there is a 100% chance that you're gonna see some of the questions that we're gonna solve in this video on your December SAT. This time, me and the GOAT, we predicted 20 questions for you guys that can show up on your December SAT, but the crucial step here is to solve these questions on yourself before watching the video. And to do that, to make that easier for you, I've put all these questions into PDF that you can download from the community. That it has the link in the description, so you can just join the community, download the PDF and solve these questions before watching the video, and then you can watch for the solutions and the answers. So without wasting time, let's get started. All right, question number 1. In a certain state, the population of pheasants, a type of bird, is estimated each year by counting the number of observed along certain roads in the state. On average, each year from 2005 to 2015, the number of these counted per mile of road decreased by 3.5% of the number of these birds per mile of the road from previous year. Based on this average, if there were like this many 6.22 of these per mile of road in this state in 2005, which of the following best approximates the number in 2015? All right, so it's being decreased by 3.5%. it's decreasing, so that means like we do 1 minus 0.035, right? And then the rate is going to be 0.965, which is there is only in choice D. And also why 6.22 is here, because the initial value there were 6.22 birds, so it's going to be choice D for question number 1. As you know, the exponential function, the form was a times b to the x power. A is the initial value and b was the rate of change. Question number 2. The area of a rectangular region is increasing at a rate of 250 square feet per hour. Which of the following is closest to this rate in square meters per minute? So this is a unit conversion question, which is very repetitive question. It's being repeated every time, so make sure you learn these unit conversion questions. So here we have 250 square feet per hour. All right, square feet per hour. I'm going to write the number with the unit, then multiply by what we want to convert. We want to convert to square meter per minute. Let's just write this here to see just what we want to get at the end. Square meter per minute. This is what we want to get, right? Now I'm going to convert. Let's start with the hour. So I'm going to write hour up, minute down, because I want the hours to be cancelled, and 1 hour is 60 minutes, right? Then let's convert the square feet. The square feet is up, so I'm going to write it down because we want to cancel them, and I have to write a square meter up. And here says 1 meter is 3.28 feet. Here is the important point. 1 meter is 3.28 feet, so 1 square meter is 3.28 square feet. Okay, so don't forget that square here. Now we just need to do multiplication, so I'm going to use decimals here. 250 times, there's no times, so 250 divided by 60 times 3.28 square, right? This is what we get, 0.38, which is close to 0.39. So it's going to be answer choice A. The function f is defined by fx equals this, where k is a constant in the xy plane. The graph of y equals fx passes through the point -3, 0. So this -3, 0 is on the function, satisfies this equation. What is the value of f of 0? So when I put -3 into the equation, I need to get 0. When I put -3 here, -3 here, -3 here, I have to get 0. 0 is the x-intercept, right? So that means the function isn't already in the factored form. So the x-intercepts, you already see these x-intercepts. These are the x-intercepts, guys. If it's in the factor form, you see the zeros for the factor is the 0 for the function. So here the 0 of this is x minus 4. So the 0 for this is 4. Like if you put 4 here, it's going to be 0 here. So that's an x-intercept, 4, right? It's the same here. So since -3 doesn't make 0 here, it doesn't make here 0, so it should make here 0. So here should be 0. So that means k is 3, right? So you just found that k equals 3, because if k is 3, then when you get when you put -3 into x, the whole thing is going to be 0. That's how you get that point -3 is 0. So now that we have the k equals 0, we can find easily f of 0. So you just put 0 into x's, you're going to get -4 times -6 times 3. So we're going to get 24 times 3, which is going to be 72, choice D. Alright, in this question, if in the function above, r and s are constants, if g of 27 is 0 and g of 28 is less than g of 27, that means the function is decreasing. G of 28 is less than 27, g of 27, which of the following must be true. Okay, so let's just first look at here. G of 27 equals 0. When I put 27 into the function, it gives me 0. So when you put 27 into x, it should give you 0. So it's either s is 27, because 27 minus 27 is going to be 0, then multiplied by this is going to be 0, or the r is -4, so -4 plus 4 is 0, then times this square root is going to be, like whatever the s is, it's going to be 0. But if r plus 4, like the coefficient of this square root is 0, like if r is -4, here it's going to be 0, then whatever you plug into x, it's always going to be 0, right? Even if you plug 10, 0 times square root of 10 minus s, 0. So here can't be 0, okay? So what, from this point, we understand that s is 27, because when I put 27, s should be 27, so 27 minus 27 will be 0 in that case. So s equals 27, that's what we found here. And since here we just realized that this function is a decreasing function, that means the r plus 4 should be negative. The coefficient of this function, the slope should be negative here in this case, right? Because you, how can you, like, this is a positive function, right? The square root is a positive function, and when you go right, it always goes up. So you have to have a negative here, that it changes the whole function to a negative, and when you go right, the number increases. It's like, let's say g of 28 is -10, and g of 27 is -9. So when you go right, the number increases, but because it's negative, the value decreases. That's how we would get a decreasing function here. So r plus 4 should be a negative number. So that means r should be less than -4, right? R should be less than -4, which is going to be choice B. Question 5. I think if you've studied enough, you've seen this question before. Let's make sure you got this question correct. If the figure parallel lines A and B are intersected by lines C, D, and E, Z equals 67, Y equals 118, and V is less than Z, which is about X and W must be true. So Z equals 67, let's just write it here, and Y equals 118, all right. Okay, and we have this. So we are looking for the relation between X and W. Z equals 67, this is the opposite angle for that, so here is also 67. Then here is W, so here is also W. Here is X, so here is also X. Then Y is 118, so this part is 62, right? So this part, this angle and this angle are the same. If you notice, that's because these two lines are parallel and this line crosses those two lines, so these two angles are the same. So if here is 62, here is also 62. Okay, now let's just look at these two triangles, this one and this one. Okay, here is X, here is 62. Oh, here is also 62, because here was 62, opposite angle, so here is also 62. Now in this triangle, I know here is 62, here is 67, here is W, and in this one, here is 62, and V is less than Z. Look at here. So V is less than Z, V is less than 67, then that means X should be larger than W, because these two angles are the same. So if you indicate this angle is this less than 67, then X should be larger than W, because the sum of them should be 180, right? Example, let's say V, since it's less than Z, it's less than 67. Let's say V is 60, less than 67. Now, what's gonna be this angle? 60 here, 62 here, you have 122. So 180 minus 122 is going to be 58. So x is 58 here. And here W, it's 180 minus 67 plus 62. So 67 plus 62 is going to give us 129. So 180 minus 129 is 51. So you see W is 51, X is 58. So X is larger than W, which is going to be choice B for this question. Another good question. A square map has a side length of 55 inches and 1 inch on the map represents an actual distance of 19 miles. A larger version of the same map is printed as a square with the side length of 65% longer than the side length of the previous map. On the larger map, which of the following is closest to the actual distance represented by 1 inch? So, the first map is 55 inches long, and 1 inch represents 19 miles. So, in total, how many miles does it represent? If we do 55 times 19, we get 1045. So the length, the distance we are representing is 1045 miles, right? Now the second map, which is the longer map, is 65% longer than the 55 inch. So how many inches is that? I'm going to find 55 times 1.65, which is 90.75 inches for this one. 90.75 inches. Now I want to represent the same distance by 90.75 inches. So how many, like 1 inch is going to be how many miles? So just divide 1045 by 90.75. So what we're going to do is 1045 divided by 90.75, which gives us 11.51, which is choice B for this question. All right. This is a congruency question, the triangles. Make sure you'll know the rules for congruence triangles and the similar triangles. In triangle ABC and triangle DEF, sides AB and DE each have a side length of 10 inches. When I see this question, I immediately first draw out the triangles. You have ABC, so here A, here B, here C, and we have DEF. So DEF. Now, AB and DE each have a side length of 10. So, AB is 10, DE is also 10. Then, angle A and D each have angle measure of 40. So, A and D are equal. Which of the following additional pieces are sufficient to where the triangles are congruent? Alright, first, the measure of angle B and C are equal. B and C. Okay, B and C are equal. Let's say these are equal. Is it fine to... Can we like conclude that these two triangles are congruent? No, it did. Like B and C doesn't relate to any angle here. It just says B and C are equal. So 1 is not correct. The length of sides AC and DF are equal. AC is this and DF is this. If these are equal, this and this angle side is also equal, and the angle between them is also equal. This is one of the rules, one of the properties for the congruence triangles. The side, angle should be between the two sides, right? So 2 satisfies here, so 2 is correct. The length of side BC and EF are equal. This is the tricky part. BC and EF. BC and EF, yeah. BC and EF here. So these two sides are equal. This and this one is equal, and this angle equal. Well, 2 sides and 1 angle. You remember this 2 sides and 1 angle, but the angle is not between these 2 sides. So this can't be proved that these 2 triangles are congruent. So 3 is not correct. So only 2 is sufficient. 2 is sufficient, but 1 and 3 are not. Choice B for question number 7. Alright, a percent question now. The mass of object A is 416% of the mass of object B. Let's translate that. A equals 4.16 B. So I converted the percent into decimal by dividing by 100. And the mass of object A is this many percent of mass of object C. So A equals 0.006, actually 0.0064 C. So again, I converted into decimal by dividing by 100. Now, if the mass of object C is P% of the mass of object B, what is the value of P over 1000? Here is the important part in the percent questions. You want to see, make sure what the question is asking for in the percent ones. C is per percent of the mass of object B. So write that down. How should we get the answer? C equals p percent of b. I'm looking for p. The important part here is you wanna, when you write this, you wanna see that you want to isolate c. That's what you want to do, because you're gonna get an equation and you don't know, should I isolate c or should I isolate b? But if you write that down correctly, you're gonna see that c should be isolated, so you will get the p percent of b here, and you're gonna find p, then p over 1000. Okay, so let's go ahead. Now I'm gonna substitute a into here, and I'm gonna write 4.16b equals 0.00064 c. I want to isolate c. That means I have to divide both sides by this number. So 4.16 divided by, let's do it on decimals, 4.16 divided by 0.00064. It gives me 6500. So c equals 6500b. Now, very tricky question. This is in decimal. This is in the number, not in as percent. But if you like pay attention here, p is in percent. So what did we do when we converted percent to decimal, to number? We divided by 100, right? Now we're going to do the opposite to make it back to percent. So we're going to multiply this by 100. So 6500 times 100, you get 650,000. So p is 650,000. But again, another tricky part, you're looking for p over 1000. So you want to divide this number, the p, by 1000. 650 is the last answer. 650. So make sure you always check what the question is asking you. Always, after finding the value, go back to question. I went back to question twice. First here to see that I have to convert it into a percent, and second when I here to just see that I'm looking for p over 1000, not p. Alright, this is a very tricky question. The cost of renting a piece of construction equipment for up to 5 days is $250 for the first day and then $175 for each additional days. Which of the following equation gives the cost y in dollars of renting the equipment for x days, where x is positive integer and x is less than or equal to 5? This part is just redundant. Don't make that part confuse you. Which equation gives this situation? The first day we pay $350 plus, and each additional day we pay $175. So 175 times x. This is what most of you guys do wrong. 175 times x is the number of days, but the first day you already counted here, so you want to do 175 times x minus 1. So you take that one first day and you don't count it for the first day here. You don't count the first day here, right? So if it was like the first 3 days we pay $350 for the first 3 days, and then for each additional day we pay $175, then you would say, okay, 350 plus 175 times x minus 3. So you take that 3 days out. This is a very common question and a very tricky question. Now you just expand this. We're going to have 350 plus 175 x minus 175, which is 350 minus 175 is going to be 175 plus 175 x, which is going to be choice A. Alright, in the given equation, c is a constant. If the equation has exactly one solution, what is the value of c? So we can put this into decimals and add in a slider for c to see where we're going to have only one intersection point. But this function, like this, has an equal sign here, and if you put that into decimals, rather than seeing the graph, you're going to see lines. And we don't want to see that. We want to see the graph, so we can see how the graph is changing as we're moving this slider. So I have to first simplify this equation here. So let's just write 1 over cx equals, take the common denominator here, xc plus 148 over 148c. Right? Now let's do cross multiplication. We're gonna get 148c equals cx square plus 148cx. Okay, this is the equation we have. Now we can put this equation into decimals without equal sign, of course. So we're gonna write cx square plus 148 cx minus 148c. Now if we put this equation, we're going to see a quadratic function, right? Then we can move the slider to see when we're crossing the x-axis only on one point. So we're going back to decimals here, and we're going to say cx squared plus 148cx minus 148c. At a slider, we are seeing 148c here. Yeah, okay. Now we see the graph, and this is the parabola, as you see. So I want to move this slider so that we only have, let's just make this 100 for the range, negative 100. All right, now, okay, as I go to positive, it doesn't, okay. When I was going to positive, it wasn't like, I couldn't see that the graph is really changing or going up, so I have only one solution or one x-intercept. But when I go to the negative part, the graph, as you see here, the graph is going to move upward. You see, it's moving upward, and that's what we want to do, because we want to have only one x-intercept. Okay, negative 38, there's no x-intercept. Negative 37, we have one x-intercept at here, so one solution when c equals negative 37. Now again, I go back to the question, see what the question was asking. What is the value of c? Okay, the value of c is negative 37. Now you could also do this by using discriminant. Just set this, if you know that to have exactly one solution, you can set a discriminant b squared minus 4ac equals 0, and again put that into decimals and see what should be the c to the discriminant be equal to 0. Now, one solution to the given equation can be written as x equals this, where h and k are integer constants. What is the value of h plus k? So in this case, I'm not going to use decimals to find the solutions for this quadratic equation, because I see that this form is in the discriminant, using the discriminant form, right? Which we were doing minus b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. It's in this form, right? So I'm going to use this formula to find. Now negative b is going to be 12 plus minus square root of b squared is 144 minus 4 times 2 times negative 13 over 2a, so over 4. Now let's first simplify under the square root. What is gonna be there on decimals? I do 144 minus 4 times 2 times negative 13. We get 248. Now let's just write 248 there under the square root, and then I tell you what you need to do. 248. Okay, so as you see, we want to make this into this format. So we have a number here, minus 1 over 2 times the square root. So the square root here, I want it to be 1 over 2. So that means like I want to have a coefficient of 1 over 2. So that means like I want the denominator of this, which is 4 right now, to be 2. So we want to write this 248 as 4 times a number, and then take the square root of 4 to write 2 here, and then simplify this 2 and 4, so we have 1 over 2. Okay, I'm going to repeat again. 248 is, let's divide 248 by 4. Okay, you see it's divisible, 62. So 248 is 4 times 62. We can write that 4 times 62. Now what you can do is take the square root of 4. Square root of 4 is going to be 2. Then we want to simplify these numbers with this form. Okay, so 12 over 4 is going to be 3 plus minus the 2 and 4 is going to be 1 over 2 square root of 62. Now it's exactly in this form. You see that h is 3 and k under the square root is 62. So we're looking for h plus k. 62 plus 3 is 65, which is choice D for this question. Alright, now we are with question number 12, which has two versions, 12.1 and 12.2, and these are both pyramid questions. These type of questions are getting common in SAT, so probably you're going to get one of these on December. Make sure you really get the pyramid questions and how to solve them, and you understand the concept behind it. And I assume you've solved this question before watching this video, watching this solution. And if you haven't, download the PDF from the community, link in the description, which even in the community you're gonna get access to me, and you can, like, it's a community of like-minded students that are all going to take SAT with you guys together, so you can ask any questions that you have there, which is super useful. So make sure you do that. Now let's go back to the solution. A right square pyramid has a height of 11 centimeters. A second right square pyramid has a height of 22 centimeters. The area of the base of each of the two pyramids is 100 square centimeters. Which of the following is close to the difference of the surface areas of the second and the first pyramid? So we're going to find the difference between surface areas. To find the surface area of the pyramid, let's just have a pyramid here. Okay. This is how a pyramid will look like, I guess. Right? Okay, I messed up the drawing part. But you got the idea. This is a pyramid. Okay? So the surface area is the area of the base plus the area of these four lateral faces, right? So I already have the area of the base. I want to find the area of the lateral faces. If I can find the area of one of these triangles, then I multiply by 4 and I add them by the area of the base. Okay, so I have two of these pyramids. One has the height of 22, the other one has the height of 11. Now this is the height for this one. Let's say this is the 22 one. Okay, to find the area of this face, lateral face, which is a triangle, I want to find the base of the triangle times the height of the triangle, right? But here the height of this triangle is not the height of the pyramid. It's different. Like if you take this height, it's going to be a triangle like this. It will look like this. This is the height of the pyramid. This is the height of the triangle. This is half of the base, half of the length of the base, this part. So this part, if the area of the base is 100, which is a square pyramid, then each side is 10, right? 10 here, 10 here. So half of that, here is 5, here's 22. What is this height? What is this hypotenuse? So 5, 22, and I'm looking for here. So it's going to be the square root of 22 square plus 5 square, right? Let's do that on Desmos and just write it like that. We're going to have a square root of 22 square plus 25 is it's this. Let's just remove the square root. It's okay. Square root of 509. The square root of 509. Let's just write that. The square root of 509 is the height of the triangle, this part. Now find the area. This times base divided by 2. So this times 10 divided by 2. Now multiply this by 4 because we have 4 of these. So times 4. This is the area of the 4 lateral faces. Now plus the area of the base, we're going to get the surface area of the pyramid. So plus 100. Okay, this is the surface area of the one of the pyramids. The second one, we're going to do the same thing, except here it's 11 rather than 22 for the first one. So let's just write this time 11 square rather than 22 square. 11 square. You get 146. So we're gonna get the same thing because the base of the first one is also 100 square centimeters. So each side is 10 for that one. So we're gonna have the surface area of that one is gonna be 10 square root of 146 over 2 times 4 plus 100. You can do this on yourself and make sure that you also get this for the second pyramid. Now we just want to see the difference between these, the difference of the surface areas. So we can easily write that as 10 square root 509 times 4 divided by, let's just write here, the whole thing divided by 2 plus 100. Okay, this is the surface area for first one. Now I'm gonna just copy this, put it here, and here I just change it to 146. This is the surface area of the second one. Now you want the difference of these. So this minus this, you get 209, which is choice A. Now, if you know any other ways of solving this question, let me know in the comments. It can also help you, the other students as well. Now, the second pyramid question says a right square pyramid has a total surface area of 28,160 square inches, and the combined surface area of the 4 lateral faces of this pyramid is this number. What is the height in inches of this pyramid? The height of the pyramid. So we're looking for this. From the tip of the pyramid to the base, this is the height of the pyramid. This is what we're looking for. This time we are given the surface area of the pyramid and also the surface area of the 4 lateral faces. So let's go with the surface area of the lateral faces. 4 lateral faces is this. So 16,060 divided by 4 is gonna give me the surface area of one of the faces, right? So 16,060 divided by 4 is 4,015. This is the surface area of one of the faces. Let's just write it down. 4,015 is one of the faces. That's point 1. Point 2. This is the total surface area. This is the surface area of the lateral faces. Let's subtract this to find the surface area or the area of the base. So if I do 28,160 minus 16,060, I get 12,100. This is the area of the base. Now, area of the base is a square. So if I do 12,100 square root of this, I'm gonna get, okay, we can just do the square root of this. I'm gonna get 110. So each side here is 110, right? 110. So 110 times 110, it gives me the area of 12,100. And plus the area of the 4 lateral faces, we get 28,160, which is the total surface area of the pyramid. Now, we want to find this. We know these sides and we know the area of this. How do we find the area of this triangle? We do height times base divided by 2, right? So the height times base, which is 110, divided by 2 gave me 4,015. Okay, what is the height of this triangle? This face, this is the height of that, right? And here is the other side. Okay, so let's just see that. We can find it by saying, okay, x times 110 divided by 2 equals 4,015. Where is x? Okay, 73. The height was 73 then. The height of the triangle is 73. Now, in this triangle, which has the height of the pyramid, half of the length of the base, and height of the triangle, looks like this. Here is what we're looking for, the height of the pyramid. Here is half of the 110, which is 55, and here is 73. We want to find this. It's easy. I'm going to take the square root of 73 square minus 55 square. This gives me 48. So the height of the pyramid is 48, which is choice A for this question. The function this gives each term of a sequence as a function of the term's position n in the sequence, where n is a whole number. The value of the term in position 14 is p% more than the value of the term in position 10. What is the value of p? So let's put this function to decimals and then see what is the f of 14 and what is f of 10, and then we can see the differences. To find the difference between them, as percent, we do the differences, like the difference of the values over the initial value times 100, right? This was the formula. So let's assign and just define this function as 7 times 20.44 over n, no, not n but x there, yeah. Okay, this is the function, yes. Now we want to look for the f of 14 and we want to look for the f of 10. These are the values, so we want to find the difference. Now we use the formula, the difference between these two divided by the initial value, which is this, okay, 19.44 times 100 is going to give me in percent, because like check out here, it's p is percent, okay, so times 100 is going to be 1944, choice C. Now this question, if you do not do it in this way, it's going to be super tricky, because you might find 20.44 and when you multiply by 100 you get this. If you've solved this question wrong and you got this, you got D, then that means the problem in your solution was you got this as decimal, but when we say it's p% more than the value of the something, let's say in the question we say x is 100 times more than the y, then that means x is 2 times that one, right? For example, 4 is 100% more than 2. That means that's 2 times the previous one. Okay, I think I'm gonna confuse you here, but when it says 100% more than something, it says twice that. So what we just did was multiply divide 100% by 100, you get 1, then add 1. So now you do the opposite. If you got 20.44, you want to do minus 1 first, you get 19.44, then times 100, you get this. If you didn't get it, that's fine, you just do it the way that I did. Now if you ask me, is there any faster way to do it? Yes, there is. We are looking for 14 and the 10, so the difference between 14 and 10. The difference between the 14 and 10 as the x's, like 14 minus 10 is 4, so you go like 4 units right from 10 to 14, right? And you're looking for how many units we will go up in this function. So if you put 4 here, you're gonna get 4 over 4 1, and you will have 20.44. That's what I see. I was trying to tell you. So 20.44, but it's the f of 14 is 20.44 times f of 10. So you want to do minus 1, 19.44 times 100, you get choice C. Alright, a data set of the orbital periods rounded to the nearest whole number of Earth days of 13 of Jupiter's moon is represented in here. An additional moon with an orbital period of 251 days is added to the original data set. Which statement best compares the mean and the median of the new data set? Okay, crucial point here, if you're adding a new data set, if you're adding a new data to a data set that is less than the minimum value in that data set, the mean is going to decrease. If you're adding a new data to a data set that is larger than the maximum value in that data set, the mean is going to increase. What do I mean by that? 251, that's what we add here. So we add like 251 is going to be here, because these are like 720, so it should be something, a value here, right, which is less than the minimum value. You added a new data to a data set that is less than the minimum value, so the mean is going to decrease. If you added a data that is larger than 732, which is larger than maximum value, like let's say 740, the mean will increase. Okay, so here by just looking there, you got that mean is going to decrease. So let's just check the choices. Mean is equal, A and B is out, mean is less. Okay, so here choice C says the median of the new data set is less than that, the median of the new data set is equal. Let's compare the medians. What is the median for this data set when it's at 13 Jupiter moons? So we have 13 here, the median is going to be add 1 to 13, 14, divide by 2, 7. So the seventh number, the seventh point is going to be the median. So counting from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, the median is here, or from the right side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Again, median is here. So the median was 724. Now we added new data set. Now we have 14 data sets. This time, how to find the median of 14 numbers? This is even, so you divide this by 2, you get 7, and you add 1, you get 8. So the value between 7 and 8, or the mean of 7 and 8, is the median for this data set. Let's check that. Starting from this point this time, because we have a new point here, 1051. Don't do the mistake of starting from here. You added a new one, so now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here 7, here is 8. The mean of these, both of them are 724. So the mean of them is also going to be 724. So the median didn't change. The median of the first and the second data set is equal. It's going to be choice D. Alright, we got a standard deviation question. The value in the dataset X and Y are shown in the table. The standard deviation of dataset X is Q, and the standard deviation of dataset Y is S. Which of the following shows the relation between S and Q? Okay. So let's check the values in the dataset X and Y. So standard deviation, as you know, is the how spread the data are from each other. It doesn't matter the value of the data. The only thing that matters is the how far these data are from each other. So I'm going to just check the distances between the values. So starting from 13, starting from 2. Then I go 13, nothing changed. Then I go 2, nothing changed. Then 1 increased to 14 and 1 increased to 3. Okay. Then nothing changed, 14, and here nothing changed, 3. Then 1 increased to 15 and 1 increased to 4. Okay. You see it's following the same relation here. Another 1 increased to 16, another 1 increased to 5, 16, nothing changed, 5, nothing changed, 1 increased to 17, 1 increased to 6, nothing changed, nothing changed. So in both of the data sets, the values has the same distances. So standard deviation is the equal. So there's no difference between the standard deviation of these. It's going to be choice C, Q equals S. Alright, we have an exponential function question here. The function f is defined by f of x equals negative 39 to the x power. The function g is decreasing linear function. And in the xy plane, the graph of y equals f of x and y equals g of x intersects at 2 points, hj and km, where j is larger than m, when g of x is less than f of x, which of the following must be true. Let's see how does this function look like in decimals. So f of, or we can just say negative 39 to the x power. Alright, this is how the function looks like. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that here as the function like this. So it looks something like this. Okay, this is the function we have, and g is a decreasing linear function which intersects at 2 points. So these g of x and f of x intersects at 2 points. That means like g is probably something like this, maybe, right? Because they intersect at 2 points. It's a linear decreasing function. So let's write g for this and f for this one. And the points that they intersect is hj and km. J is larger than m. J, which is the y value, is larger than m. So that means it should be here, because here is larger than here. So this point is hj, this point is km. Okay, now where j is larger than m. Okay, so when g of x is less than f of x, g of x is less than f of x means when the g of x, the line, is below the f of x, the exponential function. When g of x is larger than f of x means when the line is above the function. So here g of x less than f of x is this part, when the line is below the black one, the exponential function. And if it was like g of x larger than f of x, then it would be this area that goes like this, and also here, because at this part the line is above the exponential function. So here the question is talking about this part. Let's just mention that it's talking about this part. Okay, here which of the following must be true? X is larger than k. So x is larger than k? No, x's are smaller than k. K is here, so you see k at this point is gonna be here, and here is h. So what we have here, it's this part. K, x's are smaller than k, so it's not this. X's are smaller than h. X's are smaller than h. No, x's are larger than h. So it's not this part. This is also out. X larger than k or x smaller than h, which is like both these questions, they're out. Here x is between h and k. Yes, x is between h and k. this area. This is what the area we're talking about. So x is between h and k, and we could also have y, the y value from here to here. The y value is between j and m. This could also be another answer. So this is choice D. Alright, we have a probability question here, super important. For 100 newtons, the table summarizes the description of classification and cell body diameter. One of these neurons will be selected at random. What is the probability of selecting a neuron with a cell body diameter that is less than or equal to 30? Less than or equal to 30. That means I'm looking for this part, less than or equal to 30. Okay. And here is the important, the magical keyword, given that it is not classified as motor neuron. So not classified as motor neuron. So I'm not selecting from motor neurons. So I'm just taking this out. This is out. Not given that it's not here. So we don't even select from those. So we're not gonna consider those, and we don't consider those in the total number of the neurons, right? So we're looking for the probability of getting a less than 30 micrometers neuron, given that it's not classified as a motor neurons. So how many of these do we have? 13 plus 7, 20, 30, 64. So I have 64 as the possible number of neurons that I can select, and the total is this. Total is this. So I only add 3 more. So the total is going to be 67. The answer for this question is 64 over 67. Now you can change this question and answer it in other ways. Like, let's say if the question was asking us, given that it is classified as motor neuron, what would you do then? Just stop the video and try to solve this way. Given that it is classified as motor neuron. So I assume you've solved it. Now here's how you would do if it was given that it is classified as a motor neuron. Means we are only selecting from here. Okay, given that it's classified as a motor neuron, we are only selecting here. So the possible number that we can take is 15, and the total is going to be 18. So 15 over 18 would be the answer in that case, because we are only selecting from motor neuron. Alright, this question is a very important question, very good question. Make sure you have the full attention here. The table shows the volume of two similar solids, right circular cylinder, a right circular cylinder B. So the radius of right circular cylinder A is 4 units. The surface area of the right circular cylinder A is kp square units, and the surface area of the B is np square units. K and n are constants. What is the value of n minus k? Okay. So the radius of the right circular cylinder is 4 units, the A1. And here the volume is this. So how do we find the volume of a right circular cylinder, which looks like this? We find the area of the base times the height, right? So the area of the base, let's just find that, which is going to be pi r square, and r is 4 units for this one, so it's going to be 16 pi. So 16 pi times the height is going to give 112 pi. So that means, what was the height of this one? I can do by dividing 112 by 16, right? 112 divided by 16, 7. So the height of the A was 7. Okay. Now we also know that the radius is 4 for A. Okay, now how can we find the height and the radius for cylinder B? Because the question didn't give us the radius of the B. So we're gonna here use there is ratios of, because these are, the question says these two cylinders are similar, right circular cylinders. Okay, they are similar. So let's check the ratio between the volumes of them. 3024 is how many times 112? 3024 divided by 112 is 27. So 3024 is 27 times 112, but it's volume, and we said volume was 3-dimensional. So 27, the ratio between them is not 27, so it doesn't mean that the radius of the cylinder B is 27 times the radius of the cylinder A. No, the volume is three-dimensional. So if I do 27, the cube, if you take the cube root of 27, we're gonna get 3. So the ratio between them is 3. Okay, because if the radius of the first one, cylinder B, is 3 times the radius of the cylinder A, then when you want to find the volume, you do r cube, right? And then that 3 goes to the cube, it becomes 27. So that's how the volume becomes 27 times the other one. And if it was asking for the area, like it was the area, then area is two-dimensional, then you would do square root rather than cube root. I hope you got this part. Now, we just saw that the ratio is 3. So that means the height of B is 3 times the height of A, which means 21 for the height, so 3 times 7. And the radius is 12, 3 times 4. I got the height and the radius of cylinder B. Now we're looking for the surface areas, because the question says the surface area of the right cylinder B is NP and the A is KP. So let's find the surface area of these two cylinders, and the question says already gave us the formula for the surface area. So for A, it's going to be 2 pi 4 square, which is 16, plus 2 pi 4 times height, which is 7. This is for A, and for B we're gonna have 2 pi r squared, so here 144 plus 2 pi r 12 times height, which is 21. And so let's find out what is gonna be the values here. So 20 for cylinder A, 2 times 16 is going to be 32 pi, right? Plus 2 times 4 times 7, so let's just have 2 times 4 times 7 pi. So what is 2 times? Let's just remove these pi's because we already know the pi's. They both have the same pi, so it's going to be 88 pi for part A. For the cylinder A, it's going to be 88 pi for this one. And for B, we're going to have 2 times pi times 144, so it's going to be 288 plus 2 times 12 times 21. You get 792. So 792 pi for cylinder B. Now, question said KP is for this, so this is K pi. So what is K? 88. And this one was N pi. What is N? 792. Right? So we're looking for N minus K. So we're looking for 792 minus 88. All right, 792 minus 88, we get 704. The answer is 704 for this question. Question 19 is an exponential function question. It's a common question. The function f and g are defined by the equation shown where a and b are integer constants. A is less than b and b is less than 0. If y equals f of x and g of x and are graphed in the xy plane, which of the following equations displays as a constant or coefficient the y-intercept of the graph of the corresponding function? All right, so in other words, the question says if I graph these functions in the Desmos, in which one of these we're going to see the y-intercept as a constant or coefficient? To know that, we just need to put them into Desmos and see what are the y-intercepts, right? So let's first put the first one, a times 4.2 to the power of x plus, so I'm going to do like x plus b. Add a slider for a and b, and now I'm going to tell you what to do for a and b, but let's also put the second one, a times 4.2 to the power of x, this time here plus b. This is the second one. Now the question said a is less than b and b is less than 0. So b, let's say b is negative, so let's put -1 here, and a is less than b, so a can be less than -1, so -2 for a. That's it. Now we have the functions. These are the functions. So let's look at the y-intercept. The y-intercept of this one is this number, and do you see this number as a constant or coefficient here? Like, do you see negative 0.47 as a number here in this function? No, you can like also like have this a, like imagine, like think that a is -2, so the function is right now the function is like this: -2 4.2 x minus 1. So do you see that number? No. For this one, the y-intercept is -3. So let's see if we see -3 here. It's -2 times 4.2 to the x minus 1. Do you see -3 as a constant in this function? No. So both of them, we don't see the y-intercept as a constant or coefficient. So it's going to be choice D for this question. And the last question, a very good question here. For a certain position, an employer offers an hourly wage of $17 at the start of an employment. 1 year after the start of the employment, the hourly wage is increased by 7% of the hourly wage at the start of the employment. For the next 5 years, at the end of every 6-month interval, the hourly wage is increased by 3% at the end of the previous 6-month interval. Which of the following function H models the hourly wage in dollars X years after the start of the employment? It's a very tricky question and very important question. It gave us the let me just explain the question from very beginning. So for a certain position, an employer offers an hourly wage of $17 at the start of employment. 1 year after that, this wage increases by 7%. So $17 here is like our starting point. After 1 year, we start from $17. After 1 year, we're gonna be 17 times 1.07. I just increased by 7%. It's 18.9. So at the end of 1 year, my hourly wage is 19. Then for the next 5 years after this, at the end of every 6-month interval, the hourly wage increases by 3%. Okay, and it gave me in months, 6 months, but in the function, the x is in years. So when you want to plug the number into x, you need to plug it as years. So you want to convert the months into years and then plug into x. Okay. Now the question is asking us which function represents this situation. You look at the functions. The initial value is 18.19. So we are starting from here, okay? We are starting from after 1 year. So you already have 1 year in hand, and then you do like six months, and 6 months we mean half a year, right? Half a year, like another half a year. So you go like half a year here. So here is 1.5 years because you already have 1 year. Another half, you're gonna get 1.5 years. Here you have 2 years. Okay. This is not the way you should solve the question. I'm just explaining the question to you. 2 year is going to be here. Now, we just see that the only thing difference in the choices is this part. Initial value is 18.19. The rate is 3% increase. So which one should be here? You want to plug this value as years into x, and it should give you 3% increase. The rate should be 3% increase. So look at choice A. Starting from choice A, you're gonna plug 3/2 or 1.5, right? 3/2 into x. So when you put 1.5 into x, you're gonna get 1.5 minus 1, which is half, and 2 times half is gonna be 1. That's it. You got the 1 for the exponent, and this is your rate. So you get increase of 3% here. So it's gonna be choice A. And the other ones, if you put 1.5, you're gonna get like half here times half, you get 1/4, then 1.03 to the 1/4 power is going to give you completely a different rate of increase and a different thing. So you want to find the choice that when you plug the x in years, the exponent should be 1, because your rate is correct here. Your rate is 3% increase, and that's what the question said. So you have a 3% increase here. So, and you're not plugging 6, or you are not plugging half. You are plugging 1.5, because you already passed 1 year here. Now you have another 6 months, so 1.5 years. Okay, I hope you got this question. All right, that's all about the predictions video. I hope you enjoyed it and solved all of these questions on yourself. I want to see you guys in the community, link in the description, because I'm sharing daily questions few days before the test, which some of these questions, just like this one that I shared on October, one day before the test, showed up on the actually in the exam, or for the November as well. So I wish you good luck in the December. Let's get that target. Let's go.